Welcome to another episode of Santi Section. Today, I have a multifaceted artist. The homie goes by BlazemUp. How you doing, dog?
What up, man? Good to see you. Good.
Good to see you,
Doing
dog.
real good. Thanks for
That's
having
right.
me.
Hey, BlazemUp. I heard that. I heard a little birdie told me that no one can outsmoke you. Is that true?
Oh, this old rumor.
Yeah.
That old chestnut.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple years back.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple years back. I can hang. Still, I'm not gonna turn it down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now I try to. I've taken it a little easy. I kick back after
Yeah.
having kids and whatnot. So I'll admit that there are some nights while after trying to live up to my old self, I'm sitting there like, man.
It's like
Fucking floating around Saturn right now.
at one point, Father Time catches up to us, right?
Yeah, it's
You know
true.
what I mean? Fuck.
That's true. Hell yeah.
I feel that. I feel like once I hit my 40s, dog, like I can't drink the same. I can't eat the same. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I get drunk just from eating unhealthy. You know? For reals, dog. Like I don't know. It's weird.
I've never heard that one. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
But just for those of us that don't know you or those that don't know you, how long you been doing this?
Man, I picked up the pen and pad about like 16 years ago.
Oh shit.
And steadily I've been doing it like, at the level that I'm at now. I've been doing that for about like maybe 5 years.
Mm.
Maybe 6.
Yeah.
That's when the traction really started to kind of get there and the resources, we started to kind of create our own shit, you know what I mean? So we kind of had the free time and the availability to do what we wanted to do.
Mm.
And that's where it went from there. We eventually started, bumping heads with Shorty and Voodoo Nation. And then, we linked up with them in 2020. And the rest has just been,
That's right.
we've just been on it. It's been nonstop.
And shout out to Voodoo Nation. This is literally a Voodoo Nation studio takeover.
Oh, yeah, because Shorty just left.
Yeah.
shout out Short Dog the Native, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Voodoo Nation. And Pinocchio was in the house, too.
That's right.
Shout out
to
Vale.
Pinocchio.
Vale's technically fucking Voodoo Nation, too.
That's right.
That's my cameraman right there.
And shout out to Pinocchio. This wouldn't have happened without him, Doug. To be honest with you, he DM'd me, and I was like, yeah, sure. I was already following Short Dog the Native, and I was just letting him know that, yeah, like I love what you guys are doing. You know what I mean? Like it's strength in numbers, dog. And you always got to be surrounded by a good team, especially as if you trust in your team, and I know it's a process to get to that point.
Yeah, especially when everybody brings their own flavor and technique to the table. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Everybody, all of us, I think we have a different approach to how we get down, but we make it happen. We make it work.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And that's how it should be, right?
Yeah.
Everybody knows their role.
Mm-hmm.
You guys don't necessarily have to be doing the same exact thing when it comes down to the art, but I feel that the hustle has to definitely be there, correct?
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that's funny enough. What me and my cameraman were talking about on the way over here. Just kind of looking back at it, the way that it all happened. I got approached with the idea of being a part of Voodoo Nation in late 2018. And then a year later, we opened up for OG Suicide. Shout out OG Suicide for his album release party in Hollywood. And, him and Shorty, they really enjoyed what we did. So, there was more talks about, let's bring you on to Voodoo. And then the next couple months, 2020, when fucking world shut down because of the pandemic, a lot of things got pushed back and we didn't officially become Voodoo until late 2020. But I was telling him, like, man, 2020, like, it was a fucked up year for a lot of people. But, like, as far as, like, us, like, we were just kind of on it. How many videos was it, Mike? It was, like, 6 videos, I think, we dropped that year. Maybe 5. 2 of them, like, I directed, like, on an iPhone and just shot. But that was kind of, like, my little thing of, like, yeah, we're in a pandemic, everything's shut down, but, like, nothing's slowing us down. You know what I mean? One of the videos that we did, it was called Jane. Shout out to my boy Crunks and Lee Plains and Dope Kid Danny. Dope Kid Danny's my producer. That's my god brother as well. We fucking been together since diapers. He sent my boy Crunks a beat. Crunks, you know, he's our vocalist, you know, he's our singer. He don't smoke weed at all, but he made a fucking dope ass weed song.
Yeah.
And same thing with my boy Lee Plains, you know, he's not much of a smoker, but fucking laid down a hard ass verse. And then they look to me like, what, you know, we got the singer, we got the rapper / singer. Now we need the bars, you know, make that shit happen. And I did, and it's a dope ass track, man. I love that fucking song. But like I said, we were in the middle of the pandemic, bro. Probably like 3-4 weeks into like everybody stay home, and we made like a funny video out of it. We dropped it on 420 because you know it's a weed song. So what I did was I had a bunch of people that we know, a bunch of people that he know, a bunch of people that we know, everybody that's on the song that smokes weed, send us in clips of them smoking weed. So it was kind of like, it's 420, you can't smoke with your homies right now, but let's all have a little toke in this video right here. And in the video, you know, it's funny, you know, we got my boy Lee Plains acting dumb like he's a cop ducking behind toilet paper because everybody knows how scarce toilet paper was at that time, you know what I mean? So it was like, you know, we kind of just kept the momentum going. We didn't let anything kind of slow us down. And then I was involved in a podcast that year too, pretty heavily, that I just think, you know, I told him it was a year for us of like, proving ourselves. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like we didn't let anything slow us down as far as like the world being shut down. We didn't let, you know, the word of other people like saying, yeah, you know, we want to bring you on. Kind of like, we didn't ride on that. Like we didn't wait on that. We just kept it going. And by the time it came around, it was like, fuck, man, you guys never stopped. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel that during that time, of course, a lot of bad things came out of it, you know, especially if you're how can I put it? If you're not a person that knows how to adapt, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I feel that at the same time, because I can relate to what you just said, it was a good opportunity to reset and get your creative juices flowing, you know, when it comes down to an art form or your craft, because I kept working, but I went from working for a company that was 70 employees to just 5 of us.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? During that stint. Yeah. And I had the office all to myself. And that's probably when I was at my best. I feel like when I improved my craft, it gave me time to, like, you know, I'm in marketing. So at that time, it gave me the opportunity to not depend on anybody else in the marketing team because I was the marketing team. So I could totally relate to that, to where it made us, like, just like they say, you know, whatever you go through, you become. You know, it whatever struggle you've gone through, you can't be the person that you are now without the struggle. Yeah. And I think that era, that little time frame was very, very important for us to overcome.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was you know, it was a lot of people probably wouldn't talk about it, but it was like, you know, it sucked. You know,
Yeah,
it was kind of depressing, dog. Like, you know, you sit back and you look at it, it was like, man, like there were people when luckily if it didn't happen to you, or fortunately if it didn't happen to you, you know, when you sit back and look at what a lot of people did go through, it's like, man, like it's like my wife was pregnant with our second that year. Oh. And we had him in December of 2020. And when we went, it was just us. There was no visitors. They didn't allow no visitors. And it was like, you guys are, once you're here, you're here. You can't leave until the baby's discharged. You know, there's no coming or going, no in and out. Like, you guys are here. That was just like not a weird experience. I always told my wife I felt like that was a give and take kind of thing. Like, it was like a bonding experience for us because it was just us. Yeah. You know, we couldn't really expect the support from anybody being there physically. You know, everyone was texting or calling, of course. But, you know, our firstborn, my parents were there, her parents were there, my sister was there. Like, it was cool to experience that. But with that, like I said, the secondborn, it was like, man, like, let's just do it. It's just us right now. We gotta make this happen. And that was like another thing of like, that kind of sucked, you know. Like, they didn't get to see when the second one was there.
Yeah, you really had to be some type of emotionally strong. It made you into a very emotionally strong person. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could totally relate. I mean, March 10th of 2020, my grandma died.
Sorry about that.
March 20th, was her funeral. It was scheduled to be her funeral. And that's the day that everything got locked down.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So I could totally relate to that. So I wasn't able. There was only like 10 people that were allowed to go,
Mm.
and she didn't have no service. It was just a burial. It was
Wow.
crazy, bro. So we still have it. I know we still have it good here in comparison to other places, but when we've had it so good for so long, things like that will fuck you up.
Yeah,
It
man.
can fuck someone up.
And that was
Yeah.
that was the one crazy thing to see how it did affect a lot of people that maybe didn't have it so rough at that time.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? There were just people, like you said, they become so accustomed to just life,
Yeah.
you know, to everything just being there, that it was like, I'm stuck in the house. I'm going
Yeah.
crazy. It's like, dude, like, you know, you should do something with that time.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Figure something out for yourself or about yourself.
Mm.
You know, I know a lot of people who jumped into like self business, you know, doing their own thing, using those those tax checks that we were getting to like
Yeah.
buy, you know, shirt presses. A lot of people jumped into merch, I feel like, over that time. They created their own clothing line and whatnot. A lot of people jumped into podcasting, you know what I mean? Like there was a lot of people who utilized that time. But it was a trip to see just how many people were just like, you know, I need to get out of, I need to go to a concert because I just haven't been to it. It's like, dude, really?
Yeah.
It's not that bad. You know what I
it's
mean?
not.
That was a one crazy thing, like how you said, to see it, like to look at it like that.
And for us that have families, I think it built us stronger. You know what I mean? Like being able to like spend more time with your family.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
like it made me that definitely made me into a better father. You know what I'm saying? It fucked me up on some tinfoil hat shit because I love conspiracies. You know what I mean? But that's a whole another thing to talk about. But yeah, dog, no, you're right. Even with the podcasting, the podcast for me, I never would have been in the podcast world had 2020 never happened. You know?
Yeah.
It gave us a lot of time on our hands.
It did. It did.
Yeah.
I think that's what, you know, it comes back to what I was talking about with my cameraman there.
No, yeah.
You know,
bro.
we released a mixtape that year as well. And it you know, it did pretty good as far as like streaming.
Yeah.
You know, and as far as like getting around locally. It wasn't really meant to like, let's blow this up.
Yeah.
You know, it was named Sundays Down Mount Vernon because in San Bernardino, Mount Vernon is a street. It's almost like LA's Crenshaw.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just just that street. It runs a long way. There's a lot of activity on it, good and bad. But I mean, at the end of the day, you know, even now, if you go down it, they have the cruise nights out down there on Mount Vernon and 7th Street at a park. And it's like, when you go down there, it's just a trip to see it, bro, because I've never seen that growing up. You know what I mean? Not I mean, in movies, you know, like on Boys in the Hood when they pull up and it's just all the whips just out there on one block, one street. They started doing that about like maybe, I don't know, I don't want to get it wrong, but I'd say a couple months back, maybe half a year or so.
Yeah.
But like I got to see it a couple of times just driving by, and it's like, this is dope, man. Like, this is fucking cool to see.
I think we're right. We're almost there. We're scratching the surface of the golden era of the shit that we've been into our whole lives. You know what I mean? It's like, I know history repeats itself, but I feel like right now with, I don't know, there's a lot of we have more easier access to like-minded individuals. You know what I'm saying?
You got to remember too that
are off the bullshit.
Yeah, and then you got to remember too, there's a lot of people, you know, ranging between, you know, my age and your age. You know, I'm 31, but there are a lot of people who've gotten into, you know, the line of work where they can have a hand into, you know, delivering shit for people like us. You know what I mean? Like it's not kids that grew up in the 50s and the 60s that are running shit now. It's the kids that grew up in the 80s and the 90s, that retro era, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking Marvel's coming out with a revamped Marvel versus Capcom classic combo pack that's like a, you know, it's a, you know, something of the classic, something new. But it's like, that's for people like us.
It is.
Because it's like, fuck, that's, you know, we haven't played that since, you know, whatever year.
Yeah.
But who else is going to enjoy that besides our generation, our era, at least in video games?
No, you're right.
That's just an example, you know what I mean? But I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, the kids who grew up in the 80s and the 90s, they have a hand in what's going to play, what's going to get out.
Yeah, it's like we're going back to our roots. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel that with even with hip hop right now, right? If we were to touch on like old school versus new school, you see that old school influence come back, especially out here in the streets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And whichever genre of hip hop you're from or subgenre of hip hop you're from, like I know you're multifaceted. You know what I'm saying? I know you're one that doesn't like being labeled a certain thing.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? But I feel that we're all going back to our roots where we're like, okay, let me do this way. Let me deliver it that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
just just like how Kendrick said recently, every now and then you gotta pop out and remind everybody,
exactly.
it's it's funny because like that's how I feel sometimes too. Like I know that I get down a certain way with my music. I have, I feel like I can touch on any type of, genre of hip hop. I'm not biased towards my beats or the type of style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like I could touch on a lot of that. But I know recently I have, gotten the tracks that I guess you could say can get the party started or
Yeah.
get the crowd live.
I've been bumping Avenue.
I see that. That's funny that you say that
Yeah.
because I was just talking to Vale about that, dude. That song's so old.
Really? How long ago did you do that one?
I recorded that in like 2016.
Damn.
Yeah, I recorded that's like 23-year-old Blazem right there.
Oh shit.
And it's funny, like I said, I feel like that song is as good as it is for at the time I recorded it. I've one of those songs I feel like that it put me in that label of like that's the type of music he does.
I see.
You know what I mean? Because after that, it was expected. Everybody was like, "What's up with the next Odie beat? What's up with the next Odie track? That funky one." And it's like I kind of only like that was like my attempt at like some radio play. You know what I mean? Or if there ever was an attempt, you know what I'm saying? Aside from recently, the stuff that we've done. But yeah, that song did. I'm glad you like it. Thank you. Thank you. I do appreciate it. Because that song, it means a lot. As far as like getting to do something I've always wanted to do, because I grew up on that block.
Yeah,
I grew up. We bought candy from those stores plenty of times when we were little, and I've been told even by older people, my pops' generation, like, dude, like, you'd have no idea like what that means, like for the neighborhood, like for us, we since we were kids, we dreamt about fucking getting on the roof of that store and look at you. I've had somebody told me, and it made me feel dope. They were like, you being on top of that store is equivalent to fucking Snoop being up on top of VIP Records. Like you don't get it. Like for this block, that's what that's the equivalent of that. And it's you kind of can't not feel good about that. You know what I mean? So
you have to embrace that sometimes. Dog.
Yeah, and it was cool. Like I said, it was all spontaneous.
Yeah.
We never meant to pull up to the stores like that and block off half the fucking street. We almost put on like a mini car show right there, and we made it work. Just made it happen. Everybody was right there, open arms.
And for me, what's beautiful about that, what you just stated, is like you're very critical of yourself. Because you're not the first artist that says something like that, where I point out a certain song. You know what I mean? And for the general public, he's like, yeah, bro, that's my simple song. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
That's a respectable way to put it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they say. Yeah, it's a a simple song. Like, no, it's cool, dog. Like, I don't take offense to it. Fucking, I wrote that shit in 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
ABC,
So I get it, dog. I know where you're coming from with that. But like you said, it's an anthem perhaps for like those that you're surrounded by.
It is.
That's a beautiful thing.
And I know around that time, it had been a minute since anybody really successfully and I guess creatively sampled an old school track and then was able to incorporate the actual lyrics from that track. That's an old school who is that? Fatback. Backstroking, looking for the good stuff. So that's how I switched it up, smoking on that good stuff. It would have been a minute since anybody really did that, like I said, successfully and creatively. This is dope. This sounds good. Doesn't sound cheesy. Doesn't sound forced. This is good. This is organic.
Yeah.
And that I like that play about it too.
And that's something I really like about you, dog. Like, you've got rhythm. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't stick to one avenue. You're a hybrid. And very rarely do I say that to artists that sit right there where you're at. You're definitely a hybrid, and you're always opening to learn. And shout out to H909 because when I had him on him too. Like I love it when an artist is still like critical of themselves. Like I love H909's music, but he straight up told me, he's like, bro, like I don't think I'm there yet lyrically. He's like, that's the shit that I want. It's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
So how critical are you of yourself even at this stage in your career, 15 years in?
First off, shout out my boy H, because that's my boy right there. Shout out H909. I checked his interview. That shit was good. It was dope. I always support that, bro. But I mean, as far as being critical of myself, 15 years plus, it's not as heavy as it used to be. You know, because I think when I was younger, just like anything else, you know, you're more hungry.
Yeah.
You kind of have like an objective. You know, you're trying to reach something. And funny enough, when I first started, my first objective was to prove that I didn't sound like fucking Little Rob or whoever other, you know, Chicano rapper that was at the time. Because that's what I was put into every single time. After I would spit, people would be like, man, I thought you were about to bust some Mr. Criminal type shit or something. Like, it was always like, it was just assumed that's the type of music he's going to kick. So in the beginning, my objective was to prove, nah, like, some of us can actually bust, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And then later on, when I kind of, you know, grew and matured, it was like, you know, I can't knock anybody for, you know, for what they do, and that's their craft. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna knock it. I'll still sit here and say it's just not as good. But you know, after that, my objective was like, okay, now like everybody likes the bars. Now I'm gonna just keep going on that. I'm gonna be the most aggressive, lyrical motherfucker you would never even expect. Oh, he's from the West Coast? I thought he was from somewhere else. You know, that was my goal. And then after that, now the goal was just making timeless music. Like,
exactly.
I want this shit to get the dance floor cracking, or wherever you're at cracking 20, 30 years from now. You know what I mean? Doggy Style turned 30 years last year, and then guaranteed you play Ain't No Fun at anywhere. You can play Ain't No Fun at a wedding. Yeah. Everybody's going to hit the fucking dance floor for that song. And it's like I said, timeless music. Exactly. You can't go wrong with that shit. And not to say like it's more of an easier way to approach it, but it's like at the end of the day, I know what I could do, what I'm capable of when it comes to the pen. But it's like, you know, let's just have a good time while we're here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Every now and then, I'll drop some bars and bust something. One track, I don't know if you've gotten to check it out, but one that you should check out is Sam Hain. That was the one that we did. That was like my, you know, don't forget. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm fucking crazy with this shit. You know what I mean? And then honestly, that got the least play of all of our fucking.
See, that's what I'm talking about. You see what I mean? Yeah, I'm a sucker for lyrical spitters. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'll get in like just my barbecue mode and play the simple stuff. You know what I'm saying? Just like you were saying, timeless music. Yeah. You know, but I am a sucker for lyricists and things like that. One of my most favorite rappers of all time, MCs, is King Crooked Eye. You know, like I love MCs that are just like diverse. You know what I'm saying? Like you can just step into anything. Yeah. And I think that's what's beautiful about us out here in the West Coast is, you know, we can bring that New York lingo if we want. We could bring that G-Funk. We could bring that Chicano rap, whatever. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And to touch on what you just stated, it's a trip. One of the homies that was here in the studio with Tusos a few weeks ago, shout out to Still Authentic, he has a line where he says, I'm too hip-hop for Chicano, but I'm too Chicano for hip-hop. You know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate because, like, we are, and I'm saying we because we're the same race. You know what I'm saying? Like we are, we're in 2024, but we're still being judged based off our look.
I'll agree and disagree with that because I do still see it, but I feel like that.
I feel just
that's,
by the
that
casuals.
Stereotype, that stereotype has kind of died down a lot because I've gotten that recently, like at some shows where. You know, I've never really changed my appearance from, you know, how I look now. Cause like I said, I've always been put in that category of like, oh, you know, I know how he's going to spit.
Yeah. That was a reply to you saying, you know, when people see you and they think you're going to spit a certain way, but then they hear you, they're like, oh shit, okay, this is not what I was thinking. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But that is a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. I've noticed that recently, like I said, doing shows, getting out of town. Of course, I've noticed I get way more love out of town than I do in my own town. But, showing up and that very first song, seeing every single person in the crowd, no matter the race, no matter the age, they're rocking to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then what gets me, is the older generation, because I have a track, Groupie. She's Just a Groupie by Bobby Nunn. I have a track where that was another oldie that was successfully sampled and sounds good, and I made it rock. But what's cool is when I get off stage, I could tell there's people, in their late 40s getting into their 50s.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing they say, man, that Bobby Nunn sample, that shit, that was my shit back in the day. It's like, that's dope, dude. You know what I mean? They're looking past, any type of stereotype, and it's like, this is just good music.
Yeah, I love, dog, how you are adaptable to the times. You know what I mean? I feel like based off everything you've been stating, that you know how to adapt to what's in, or like
Yeah, we've tried. I feel like being born in the year that I was born and growing up in the era that I did, it was like it was like kind of perfect timing. It was like right in between of like the classic and I guess the new age. You know what I mean? So it's like, of course, I got the roots, but I kind of got ears in the new age, and we have a few songs like that. One of them, the Cali Dream that we shot out on Santa Monica Pier, that's like some house type music. That beat is just, it's so fast and it's so fast paced, so upbeat, but I made it rock. You know what I mean? Like even my lyrics are kind of like, oh shit, this guy's from the West Coast, and then I have another one that's called High Frequency, and that's like basically my song for the fucking ladies to shake some ass to, because we all know that that's what's gonna sell. That's what people want to do. That's what people want to see.
Some club bangers.
So we got the club banger, but funny enough about that track is only the chorus is what makes it the club banger, and the beat. The beat is very like I said, it'll get people on the dance floor. Yeah. But the chorus is the only thing that'll probably have the ladies singing along. Yeah. When you sit back and listen to the verses, it's like, damn, this dude's spitting. There's fucking bars in this verse right here, So I've always tried to, like I said, get into that lane, but just kind of do it effortlessly. Yeah. Because I've seen people make attempts, and it's like, nah, bro, just stick to you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's good. Nice try. I can't knock you for it, but it's just not it, Yeah. And so being able to pull it off is like, okay, this is cool. You know what I mean? And then I know too, because there's sometimes, like I have a uncle, he's been heavily invested in my rap career since I started. He's in that era. He was born in the 70s, so it's like, if it ain't G-Funk, if it, he don't even really fuck with Biggie that much. If it ain't West Coast, bro, like he ain't gonna knock it. So I'll go and I'll show him some of those songs sometimes, like the newer ones. Yeah. And I'll know if he's like, nephew, I love you. I love everything you do, but that one is just, it's not my favorite. That's how I tell him. It's not my favorite. But I'll know if he tells me that, then it's going to bang. A lot of younger people are going to catch to that one. And usually that's how it always happens.
And that's cool, dog, that you're able to recognize that, that with in putting a project together, you don't have to just have one theme. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can name it something, but you can make something for everybody.
Yeah, that was the whole concept behind the album of New Game, the one that we just did with Voodoo. Because if you've seen the album cover and you look at it, it's looks like an old retro video game. Mm-hmm. And when you go back to any type of, video game play, it's never the same thing. It changes up. There's secret levels. There's, hidden things that you can find that might change how this mission ends or how you might be able to complete it. You know what I mean?
I like that.
That's what I wanted to do with the album, because if you listen to it, it doesn't at all sound like it sounds like a compilation of just a bunch of different beats, but because it's me on them, everything just flows organically.
Those kind of projects have always been my favorite projects, to be honest with you, because it's shit that you could just, I like grabbing a project and put it in separate playlists. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's how I like it too, because I know it's an album that you probably can't skip.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I got this one for my workout playlist.
Exactly.
This is when I'm cleaning. This is when I'm cruising. You know, like
exactly.
that's dope to know.
Yeah, I love that about you, Doug. For real.
Appreciate that.
And I love your music. You know what I'm saying? And I love geeking out on shit like this. But I know there's deeper things that I definitely wanted to touch on with you because I could relate with you on some things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And well, first of all, how long have you and wifey been together?
Me and the wife been together for 13 and a half years.
That's right. Well, congrats
High
on
school
that.
sweethearts. Thank you.
That's right. Yeah, I can relate. I've been with
Hell
wifey
yeah.
for 25 years. It's going to be 26 years.
Oh, yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, we've only been married for, fuck, what are we in 2024? 12 years. It's going to be 12 years. Yeah. But I'll share it with you in case you haven't watched my other episodes. Just, 2020 was rough in a sense to where, you know, I started learning more about myself, of course, and my kid she started attending school, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, right off the bat, she had asthma, you know, and I did a horrible job at victimizing myself, like, oh man, what's going on? Why me? You know what I'm saying? Things like that. And then a couple years later, she started getting seizures, you know, and it changed a lot of things of how the way I view life. And I know you can relate,
definitely.
bro, because I've been told that, you know, you have an autistic son, correct?
Yeah, my oldest.
Yeah, your oldest. At what age? I mean, how long ago was he diagnosed, or did you guys catch that right away? And
we started to see signs when he was like maybe 2.5.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 years old. You know, because just like any kid approaching 2, you know, he started to speak a little, say some words here and there. And then like around 2.5, he kind of just stopped, you know. It turned into a lot of like humming, you know, just kind of random noises to himself. And so we kind of really, you know, looked at that. Other signs too, you know, the typical ones, you know, lining up his toys or things like that. And then we went and got him. I think he was diagnosed like around going on 4. It was like he was like 3.5. 2022, I think, in August. Yeah, because he hadn't started school yet. Yeah. He was in. After that we got him in speech therapy for a year. Yeah. Before he started school.
And that was his diagnosis. I mean, he didn't he doesn't have seizures or anything like that. Nothing else.
No, yeah. Good, you know, very fortunately, I can say that his autism is a mild touch.
Oh, okay.
You know, he it's not as severe as I've seen some other children.
Yeah.
Some other people. You know, so we're very fortunate about that. But it's like I said, it's one of those things that we're like, yeah, like you can sit back. I mean, just like anything else, I'm pretty sure as a parent, you could imagine for some reason when we first got the diagnosis, like we kind of felt like it was our fault, you know, like looking back on it now, it's like there's no way that it could have been. Yeah. But it's just like as a parent, you know, you just kind of get hit with that. But after a while, like I had to look at it as like, man, dude, like there's a lot of people out there who don't get to hold their kids anymore. You know what I mean? Maybe even never even got to hold them. You know what I mean? They knew about them, they held them, they felt them, but they never got to hold them. You know, mine is here. I get to put him to bed every night. I get to wake up to him.
That's true.
Let's just, you know, take these lemons and make some lemonade.
Embrace it, right?
Yeah.
You know, and make something out of it. You're definitely right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, having him, man, it did change me in a lot of ways. Yeah. You know, you could probably ask this guy because he's been there the whole time. There's definitely a shift in the way that I approach things and people, you know, from then to now. Yeah. You know, the patience is definitely, you know, one of the things that like I had to work on, you know, because it's like I'm not moving at my pace no more. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I got to slow down a little bit and get down to what is important for him, what he needs.
Yeah. It helps you realize you never know what someone's going through.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you never know, you know, like you could see someone with a happy face or someone being a dick and it's like, all right, bro, like you don't know what that person is dealing with.
Yeah,
you know?
That was one thing you kind of noticed that right away. I used to make a little joke, tease my wife. Because like I said, you know, when he stopped talking, he would make a lot of random noises. And a lot of the screams were like, they were from joy, just being excited. Yeah. We'd be in Walmart, and, you know, just like when they scream in Walmart, it just echoes, it goes throughout the whole store, you know? Yeah. So people are looking at us like something like, you know, oh, he's being bad or, you know, he's not listening. But he's really just... And you know, excited to be out. Yeah. And I was like looking around how people would look at us, and I would tell the wife, like, man, I feel bad I apologize for when I was younger. And hearing kids scream and be like, man, mom better beat us. If that was my mom, shit, you know. So it's like that's like I said, it definitely it changes your perspective.
Yeah, it definitely does, and yeah, it for me it made me be more in the moment and just like not talk my shit when I know I shouldn't have. You know,
Yeah,
like
definitely.
shouldn't have to, just like that explanation, because you never know later on down the line what may happen. You may be that person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
it definitely builds awareness, and it makes you a stronger person for sure.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely been a great conversation, brother. Like, you know, is there any other things that you'd like to touch on before we?
No, I mean, you know, just we got our podcast. Like I said, we're working on that right now. We've got 2 episodes out. The next one should be coming soon. We've had some technical difficulties trying to record it because you know, moving studios around. Yeah. Like I said, we're trying to get everything settled before we can get back to, you know, being on a good schedule with it. But yeah, all the dialogue podcasts, that's us right there. It was created by me and him. Voodoo's helping out a lot with that, so look out for that too. Hopefully we'll get you guys on there.
And I'm gonna tell you what I tell everybody else. You know, like when I'm on Instagram or on social media, I just see what's trending. You know what I mean, or the For You page or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So if you ever have stuff that you want me to repost or anything, just send it to me, dog. You know,
definitely.
Like it's, I'm not like lurking on everybody's pages. You know what I'm saying? Because people think that like, oh, this fucker didn't like my shit.
No,
it's like, no, dog. It's just whatever pops up.
Yeah, whatever.
Maybe,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. And everybody knows. I see it too. You know, the algorithm is kind of weird, bro.
Yeah.
You know, I've noticed that with a lot of things, music wise. It depends on, you know, what I'm posting as far as like, you know, music videos. You know, of course, that gets traction. Yeah. But like behind the scene photos of like a show or a music video, that doesn't get much traction. The clips that I posted of us behind the scenes of the podcast, that gets no traction at all. You know what I mean?
Trip,
so
right?
it's just the way that the algorithm works. It's what they kind of know what people want to see and don't want to see. You know? And
even with like TikTok, it's a completely different crowd than what it is on Instagram.
Yeah.
You know,
that's true.
It's a trip. Like you have to learn how to not cater to that audience, but capture that audience's attention, because it's not going to be the same attention that you're going to capture on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's what I'm learning.
Yeah, there's a different approach, I guess, because it's 2 completely different
platforms.
Social media sites. But I feel like Instagram it lets people feel like they kind of know you more personally. And TikTok is just kind of like, I'm just here just to watch.
Yeah, it's like a party line.
Yeah.
That's what I compare it to, dog.
That's funny. You're just scrolling on.
Yeah, dog, like seriously, when I get on TikTok, I'm like, dude, this gives me, because I grew up in the era of party lines. I'm like, fucking TikTok gives me party line vibes.
That's funny. I've never heard a reference like that, but that's a good one.
But hey, I appreciate you, bro. Before we log out, I mean, what's the best piece of advice you could give someone?
The best piece of advice: don't take life too seriously. You know what I mean? I mean, I get it. You know, everybody wants to make their mark, make their stamp here, you know, but to be one of those guys, you know, I wouldn't say conspiracy. I would just say, I guess a deep thinker. You know, one day, none of this is gonna be here, bro. You know, it's something that human beings don't like to talk about, but that sun's gonna give out one day, bro. And then once that happens, everything that has ever happened here, it's not gonna matter. It's gonna turn to dust. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, live your life, have a good time, but don't take it too seriously.
That's right.
You know, because not every day is promised. Not every day is promised. I've learned that. I've seen that shit growing up.
Thank you. Hey, like I said, I appreciate everything that you're doing. Shout out to the whole Voodoo Nation team.
Yes, sir. Shout out Native, Pinochle.
Everybody. But
thank you guys again for having us. I appreciate it. Shout out Jam Hits.
And if you need anything else, dog, let us know.
Yes, sir. Hell yeah. Right, appreciate it.
All right, we'll catch y'all next time.
Yes, sir.
What up, everyone? This episode has been brought to you by Jam Hits. Jam Hits is a one-stop shop for all of your multimedia needs. Whether you're an artist in need of some studio time, recording a music video, if you're in need of printing out some artwork for your upcoming album, show, or merch, Jam Hits is the place for you. We also have many different podcasts and radio shows in which you can promote yourself in the confines of our state-of-the-art studio. I guarantee you, once again, Jam Hits is the place for you, so go give them a follow on Instagram. This is for all of my sneakerheads out there. I get all of my sneakers from one place, and that is Inland Empire Sneakers. Are you tired of paying those extra fees on certain websites? Are you tired of missing the beat on the latest drops? Are you tired of your shoe plug being outrageously overpriced? Well, if you answered yes to any of those questions, go give Inland Empire Sneakers a try. That's my primo, and let him know that Santi sent you. Once again, Inland Empire Sneakers on Instagram. Go give them a DM, go follow them, and for an extra discount, let them know your boy Santi sent you.